Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have some really interesting updates to share about one of the ghost candidate cases down in Florida. If you guys have been following the show for a while, you know that I've been covering all these twists and turns in these fake candidate cases. For those who are maybe new around here, Republican dark money groups and operatives are accused of paying people to pretend to be progressive Democrats. They are inserted into these races as candidates. They pretend that they're real candidates, but they're actually fake candidates. They're there to siphon votes away from the real Democrat in the race to then hand the election to the Republican. So, Republican operatives and two fake candidates have already been arrested. And the fake candidates, who are also referred to as ghost candidates, are cooperating with the investigators against the people who paid them to essentially rig the election. So, Jestine Iannotti was the ghost candidate in a Central Florida 2020 race between Republican Jason Brodeur and Democrat Patricia Sigmund. And Iannotti was recently arrested and she was charged with related crimes to her part in this scheme. It's now been revealed that Iannotti is saying that Brodeur donated to her campaign. That's what she was told, or that's the information she was given by the man who helped her launch her fake campaign. So this came out in a recently released transcript of her interview with the investigators. And in this transcript, Iannotti says that Eric Fogelsong, they were discussing how to get money into her coffers and make this all look legitimate. She offered to put in some of her own money, and he said, no, that's not going to look right because you barely had any income in the previous year. So it's going to look suspicious. So he says, let me see what I can do. I'll work on it. He sends her a list of names with donation amounts next to them. And she says that Brodeur's name was on that list and that he had donated $100 to her fake campaign. So Iannotti was asked, did you question why your so-called opponent would donate to your campaign? But her answer was redacted in this publicly released transcript. And Brodeur's contribution didn't appear on her finance reports, of course, but that's one of the charges that Iannotti's facing, falsifying these campaign finance reports, because she and Fogelsong listed the names of two other people, and they said that these were the people who contributed to her campaign, but these people had never heard of her before. So before the authorities and journalists went and knocked on their doors, they had never heard of this woman. And this revelation about Brodeur is really significant because Iannotti is now the second person to implicate him in this fake candidate scam. You guys might remember I recently shared with everyone that Matt Gaetz's former BFF, Joel Greenberg, he also told investigators, completely separate, that Brodeur was aware of this scheme. Greenberg claims that he was present when Brodeur and others were discussing the general outlines of this plot. He said, they didn't discuss who, what, where, when, all the details, but they discussed the overall idea of how to swing this race. And Brodeur has maintained that he knew nothing about it. But if the prosecutors can either tie him to it with, money transfer, a canceled check, maybe another witness, he's screwed. And the other person who appears to be screwed is Fogelsong. This guy is a longtime political operative, and he appears to have lied to the investigators, and he appears to have withheld evidence in this case because, according to Iannotti, on August 30th of 2020, she and Fogelsong exchanged a bunch of messages, and they did this through an app called Pinger. However, Fogelsong never mentioned any of these messages. He never shared them with the investigators, but Fogelsong's former attorney told the authorities that Fogelsong had already turned over everything. He apparently provided screenshots of text messages that he exchanged with Iannotti, but he never mentioned that they also were using this other app, this other form of communication. Now, unfortunately, Iannotti has switched to a new phone number with this pinger service. So she no longer has access to the account and these messages. So the investigators don't know what was in the messages, but they do have a call log. So they sent a subpoena to Pinger, and Pinger sent them the documents. So they've confirmed that Iannotti was being truthful and that there were, in fact, 13 messages exchanged on that one day between her and this Fogelsong guy. The Orlando Sentinel has now reached out for comment to Fogelsong, also his previous and his current attorneys. None of them have responded. So this is really bad news for Brodeur. He's currently running to win re-election. He is a state senator, and people now have been calling for him to step down since these revelations came out. Well, even with the Greenberg revelation, they were calling for him to step down. So now what are they going to say? And this guy is friends with Matt Gaetz, so I'm sure he has no scruples, no morals, and he's not going to do the right thing. I mean, if he took part in this, he's already proven what kind of person he is. He doesn't believe in himself. He doesn't think that he can win an election fairly. And so he's willing to cheat, lie, cheat, and steal an election. He's not going to do the right thing. So anyway, guys, I will let you know when I hear more. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.